Alright, greetings everybody in YouTube land. Today we are in Maidencreek Township, Berks County, in an area called Evansville. And we're here because I found something interesting that I thought I'd share with you. I was here probably about a month ago or so, geocaching, and I came across this, and it's pretty neat, so I thought I'd come back here and film it. Where we're at again is Evansville, and it's called Peters Creek, and it's a little creek that feeds Lake Ontelaunee. I should say the upper part of Lake Ontelaunee. It's close to the Lehigh Cement Company. So it's a neat little creek. I didn't do the research on it before I came here. I do know why it's called Peters Creek, but when we get to it, you'll understand why its uniqueness and stuff. I don't know who did it or when it was done, but it's pretty neat, and it took a lot of time to do it. So we'll turn these around here and head on down the trail, and hopefully we'll see some wildlife while we're back here. All right, this is Peters Creek. I just cannot get over how clear the water is with this creek. It just amazes me. It's not cloudy. It is just so clear. And it was like this a month ago when I was back here. I shouldn't say, probably longer than a month. I think it was the end of February. I was here geocaching, and couldn't believe how clear this was. So they say, from the fishermen here, they say this creek is used for the fish to come up here during mating season and spawn and stuff like that. You cannot fish in this creek at all. To the best of my knowledge, unless they changed stuff. But years ago when I came up here fishing, this creek was this is off limits because of the fish coming up here to spawn. There's another pond over here. I don't know if you want to call it a pond or mud hole, lack of a better term, that this flows into. And there's, you can see part of it over here. I think this is just a mud hole, as I like to call it. But this water is just so clean and so clear. It just amazes me. Let's see if we can get over here and get a spot, show you the lake that's here, or the mud hole, or whatever you want to call it. Even this isn't too terribly bad. This is obviously, for those of you that are familiar with the area, you know where I'm at. For those of you that aren't familiar with the area, this is not Lake Ontelaunee. This is just, like I said, a little pond here, mud hole, whatever you want to call it. Surprisingly enough, I thought it'd be a little bit more cloudy with all the rain we had the past couple days. We had rain last night, which is why the ground's all nice and soft and muddy. And I do recommend wearing proper attire coming up here. This is, I don't think any time of the year, unless we're having an extreme drought, that this area up here to get to where I'm at right here is going to be dry. So we'll walk down here a piece ways. I see a goose down here. I want to see. Yeah, he's going to take off. 2 of them. I was kind of hoping to get him. There's a herring or a fish crane. That was interesting. Sure, making a ruckus over here. Looks like they landed on the water. I wanted to see if I could get a little closer to them, but I guess not. But if this creek looks like it's really squared off, or like lined, should I say like a channel or something like that, if it looks real even, that's because it is. Because the creek here is, you can't see it too well here. But as we get up further to where it begins, it's actually, the whole thing is lined with stone. You can't see it that well here, but once I get up a piece ways here, you'll see it much better. Like I said, I don't know who did it or when it was done, but it took an awful lot of work to line both sides of this creek with stone. And of course, over the years, obviously through, you know, high water and, you know, freezing and thawing out and stuff, the, you know, the rock, the walls and stuff obviously moved and fell and stuff like that. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit and show you over there. If you look right in there, you can see part of the wall, how it's lined. Like I said, it is just so peaceful up here. You have the hum of the cement factory up the road, and the cars traveling up Evansburg Road, but that's about it. It's just an area to get out and be with nature. And where I parked, I tell warmer weather's here, and they opened trout season early this year. It's definitely filled with fishermen in the parking area. So, all right, we'll walk up Peaceway here. See if I can get you some better views of the stone wall that lines this creek. Yeah, walking along here, I saw something that I did not see the last time I was here, and this. Let's get it right. A little spring here flowing into Peters Creek. Or, yes, Peters Creek. Having problems talking today. This is not the beginning of Peters Creek, but this is one of the underground springs that feeds into it. And again, the water is so clean and clear. It's not even funny. And I just wish I knew what kind of grass this is. I say grass, and it's not grass, but what plant this is that's growing in the water here and stuff and loves this water so much. Like I said, I was up here, you know, the end of February, maybe March, for the very beginning of March, and there was nothing sprouting. But this plant that's in the water here was so green, it was unbelievable. I just wish I knew what it was. So if anybody knows, please put it in the comments section, because I'd really like to know what this is. Alright, here I found a good spot where you can see the wall and how the creek gets lined with this wall on both sides, no less. I'm actually standing on the wall on this side. Can't see that good. You get up a little bit further, you'll see it better. But again, just look how clear that water is. So clean. Interesting to find them out here in the wild. There's a clump of them there. I think that's a clump of them over there. And where does it look? Let's see here. Yeah, somewhere up in there, if you see the yellow daffodils. It's just funny to see them out here. Must have got here somehow. There's some others. Here's the yellow ones. Well, they're pretty much done. These are the only 2 or 3 clumps that I see here. But what I want to show you is right over here. This is the beginning of Peters Creek. It's an underground spring that comes out right here. And this is where it starts. And as you can see, like I said, the whole creek is lined with a stone wall. Like I said, I should have done a little bit more history on this before I came up here and seeing what else I can find about this, to see if there's an actual date maybe that this would have been done, or somebody would have went and lined this. But over here you can see where the spring comes out through the wall right there. This is a neat little creek. Again, there is algae growing on it here and stuff on this end because it is still, but it, again, looking at it, it's just so clean and clear. All right, we got a little bit ways to go up here. And the other interesting thing is up here that we'll get to in a few minutes. More daffodils there. And I've seen some more up here. I'm wondering if somehow they might have got here by what's on the other side of this tree line. I know they're bulbs and stuff that they come up every year, so maybe somehow they worked their way over from what's on the other side of this tree line. But this was an interesting find for me, and I didn't even know it was here. I stumbled across this by mistake when I was geocaching, and yes, there is a geocache in the area here, but I'm not going to show you where it is. So if you look at the tombstone that's in there, Peter. So the Peter family is buried here, hence the name Peters Creek. So And there's other people that are buried in here. And as soon as I find the paper, the organization in Berks County that goes around to these old cemeteries and restores them, they are just fabulous. I'm so happy that they do what they do with the volunteers that they have and stuff, and that they go around and try and fix the tombstones that are cracked and broken. And again, some of this just happens over the years. It's not necessarily vandalism, but some of these are written in German from the looks of it. But there's that's a newer tombstone. So somebody that did that because he was a Revolutionary War soldier. But this is it, a Barnett Peter family burial ground. So this is the Berks County Association for Graveyard Preservation. They're the ones that go around to all these cemeteries in Berks County and do this. So it says the first known settler on this land was Stephen Barnett, who was living here in the 1740s with his wife Maria Bertolet. And there's Bertolet's down in the Ole area, and there's Bertolet Road down that way too. But their two sons, Stephen and Daniel, inherited the land. Daniel received the land where this graveyard lies, and Stephen land to the west. Daniel married Maria Elizabeth Lies. They had one daughter, Susanna, who married Abraham Peter, fourth generation of an early Ole family. Daniel Barnett bequeathed this land to his grandson, Joseph, and Benjamin Peter. It remained in the hands of their descendants until sold to Anthony Magario in November 19th, 1971. Today, their direct descendants also be named Burnett, Burnt, Peters, or something similar. Daughters of the first two generations married into well-known families such as Kaufmans, Kiefers, Beckers, Kimes, and Rothermels. The timing of the vandalism of this graveyard is unknown. So yes, this was vandalized. It occurred before the 1990s and presumably after being sold by the Peters family. Unfortunately, its fate has been similar to many others. Descendants lose knowledge of their connection to a graveyard or just ignore it, and disrepair follows. The Berks County Association for Graveyard Preservation removed a large tree that bowed the wall opposite of the entrance and had all the walls repointed. Many tombstone pieces were uncovered by probing the ground. Grass seed was planted. The easel were made to preserve and display what remains of the tombstones. We extend our thanks and appreciation to the staff of Memorial Gardens for watching over this graveyard and supporting our efforts to resurrect and preserve it. And that's where this is. This is actually in the back of the, I think it's the Berks Memorial Gardens. That's up off of 222 outside of Blandon. So if you drive all the way to the back of the cemetery, you'll find the dirt road which will bring you back to this cemetery. So again, I'm just glad that there's a organization out there that goes and works on these graveyards and preserves them, even though they've been vandalized and stuff, and don't know exactly where the graves are in reference in this area here, but there's all the names. So, like I said, interesting. And I did not know this was here. I discovered this here by mistake, just up here geocaching. And for those of you that aren't involved, don't know what geocaching is about and stuff, geocaching is supposed to take you to places of interest, and this is the perfect example of what geocaching is about. A place of interest. So for those of you that love going to old cemeteries, this one's for you. This is Peters and Barnett Cemetery in Maidencreek Township. Oh yes, and one thing I realized that I forgot to point out in this video, I always do this when I see it, JP from JP Videos, this is his trademark, but this is for you, JP. There you go, nature's carpet all over that wall. Not quite as plush as I saw in one of your recent videos from, I believe it was Centralia, that you made. Not quite as plush, but there you go, something for you. And I finally found some while I was walking here. I did take a picture and try looking it up using the plant app that I have on my phone. I can't even pronounce the name. To me, this is skunk cabbage because it stinks when you break it open. But yeah, you'll find this in marshy areas, and it's loaded with it over there. And this stuff usually starts sprouting out of the ground depending on weather and stuff. This year I think I actually saw some starting to sprout out of the ground in the beginning of March, but we didn't have that harsh of a winter this year, so it started sprouting early. That's what I call skunk cabbage. Somebody else can pronounce the name or another common name other than the ones that are given, which I can't pronounce them. I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce them because I'll just butcher the names. Leave it in the comments down below. Alright, well that's gonna wrap it up for this trip. Thanks for coming along. And like I said, if you know more about the area, feel free to put it in the comments down below. I never claim to know everything about these places, but it's just places that I find as I'm out wandering around. Either geocaching or just out hiking and stuff. And again, this was a perfect day for it. I probably should have been at home mowing my yard, but hopefully we'll put that off maybe tomorrow or Friday or Saturday. I just needed to get out of the house and do some hiking and stuff. And with everything that's going on right now, I don't need to tell you what's all going on. Too much of it and everything, so just need to get out and do some hiking, and that's all you got to do if you're cooped up. Just get out. As some people say, explore your world. Just get out and walk around, find places to go hiking. Best therapy there is. So again, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and also hit the subscribe button. And thanks again for coming along, and we'll see you again soon.